she came in Friday and dropped off, she said, "No big hurry. We're gonna be gone all weekend." I was sitting there thinking, yeah, we're gonna be gone all weekend too.
People don't read the sign. It's too hard for them. Alright, let's start this fucking stream, I guess. Thank you. Getting fucking trolled by this board is so annoying, it sucks. Offline. Offline, online, offline, online. Boop, 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 boop. So, today you are going to witness me want to kill myself because of this damn board. So this board came in after the lady was on a phone call and the phone shut off. No reason. Just shut off mid-phone call, what she said. I was like, okay, well, send it in. Probably just like a cap or something when the board failed. Probably drawing VCC main to ground. Easy fix. We'll get you sorted out. So, get the phone in, open it up. No water damage. Phone's in pretty much pristine condition. There's no, like, big dents or anything in it. Looks really good. Open it up. Look around. No shorts on VCC main. Plug in the charging port to test TriStar. TriStar is acting normally. Replace TriStar anyway just to make sure. Still won't boot up. What's up, Freddy?
Ready.
So replace TriStar, still won't boot up. Checked VCC main for shorts, no short. Plug in the DC power supply. Try to prompt the phone to boot. It pulls 80 milliamps and doesn't do anything. Just sits there. So 80 milliamps usually is a sign that one of the I2C lines is fucked. So I've gone through and I've removed every chip plus more that talks to I2C. So we've got rear or the boost circuit for the home button has been removed. Actually, is that, no, that might be the, yeah, that's boost circuit for the home button for Touch ID. Chestnut's been removed. Both backlight filters have, or backlight drivers have been removed. Audio IC's been removed. Mason and Cumulus removed. Chestnut removed. Replaced both TriStar and Tigris because they both have I2C lines. And removed the PMIC for baseband. And now I've taken the PMIC off and I've been dicking with it. I've replaced it with two separate PMICs. And they both seem, I do have a change now when I try to boot them up. I'm showing a high amp draw on the SD RAM line, but the problem is I metered the SD RAM lines to see maybe, hey, they're fucking shorted or something. No fucking short. They read perfectly fine. They're not out of spec. The 1V8 SD reads 0.3, I think, in diode mode, and the 1B2 SD line reads 0.27 something. Which is perfectly fine. And like I said, I've replaced PMIC. This will now be the third time. I'm actually gonna lift and replace this same PMIC to see if maybe I had a bridge. What? I have no audio? Damn it. Don't I have audio? Doesn't look like I have audio. Maybe I do. Yeah, I have audio. Cool. But I really don't know what it is. I don't know why it's showing a high amp draw on the SD RAM lines. There's no short on them. SD RAM looks fine. There's no like stray solder balls anywhere. It makes just absolutely no sense to me what the hell is going on with this thing. So I'm going to try to sit this PMIC back into position and see if we still have that same short. if we do, I will go ahead and put another PMIC on and see if we just coincidentally just had two that were having the same exact issue, which I doubt. Okay, PMIC's down. Ghost in the machine? Yeah, probably. So as you can look over here, we don't have any like big solder balls or anything anywhere. Everything looks clean. SD RAM is flat against it like it should be. Like I said, we removed all the backlight drivers for the I2C lines. So let's see what the fuck it does. We'll cool it off a little bit. Alright. So it's cooled down. Also noticed after we messed with Tigris, I think it was, now when you hook up the DC power supply, it started drawing some. Actually, it was after we removed what was it? Fucking Stockholm. After we removed Stockholm, we now get an amp draw of about 60 milliamps with the board off. And I don't know where that came from. It just started after I removed that chip. Now we'll prompt it to boot, and it goes to an immediately dead short.
Oh wait, this camera might be way cheaper.
Okay, now it's back normal. So it's still pulling the high amp draw. It doesn't. I really don't know what's wrong with it. It's pulling at 800 milliamps immediately, and the CPU is getting warm. PMIC gets hot. I'm gonna let these cool off, and I'll show you where PMIC is getting warm, which happens to look like it falls both on the same line. They both appear to be SD-RAM voltages, 1.2 and 1.8 SD-RAM. So we'll come over here to PMIC, and this only started after, like the dead short draw only started after we replaced PMIC. So I thought, well, maybe I've overheated SD-RAM. I didn't think I did, but there was a chance maybe I did. So that's why I checked them immediately for shorts, and there's no fucking short.
Hey Chris, do I need to call them on the 7, let them know you can pick it up and we'll order a camera for them? Or?
Have you tested everything else?
Yeah, everything else.
Or is good? Yeah, you can. Alright, so we're going to plug in our power, and as you can see, it starts melting on PMIC immediately. Let's freeze it a little more. Want to get it cold enough that we can watch it for a second, because there's specific spots you can see where it starts to melt first. Alright, so here we go again. I'm gonna pulse the power on. Okay, so see where it's melting? It's melting right here, which is almost dead center of the chip. It's actually a little offset this time. So let's see on ZXW what that is. So a little offset from center. It says VCC main. So let's see if we have VCC main short. Maybe I caused it when I put that back on that time. I don't think we do, because when we hook up our power, we don't have one. Nope, VCC main is 0.35. No, 502. So I don't know. I'm really lost on this. So if we come over here, let's meter our 1V8 SD-RAM. 1V8 SD-RAM reads 0.304. 1V2 is up here. it reads 0.232. These are like the, I think this is CPU. It reads 0.174, which is correct. 0.174 here. GPU reads 0.081, which is correct. And this line, I'd have to look and see. I think that's maybe CPU or an SoC line. That's SoC. SoC reads, let's see here. That's not right. The SoC reads 0.3. So I really don't know what the fuck it is. I don't understand where the short's coming from. Why that high amp draw? There's no short when you plug in the power directly. You have to prompt it to boot before the short shows up. But the short is very odd. So I think I'm going to end up pulling PMIC again and just start going down through. Yeah, Curtis, he told me you called. Alright, so I don't know what the fuck it is. Case of the Mondays? Yeah, pretty much. Alright, so we'll let that cool for a second, and then we'll do some diode readings under PMIC and see what we got. Let me look at PMIC real quick, just to kind of tell what we might be looking at. We've got VCC main down there, we've got PP1V0, PP1V2 SD RAM, which we know is not shorted, as ground. PP1V2, we could check that one. Let's see, 1V2 is this one here. Help if my meter was on. What's up, Spectre? Okay, that could be our issue there, which will suck if that's what it is. So I'm reading a dead short on the 1V2 line, which is under CPU. I don't know how it's shorted. Let's see. What's 1V2's proximity to ground here? Oh, that's good. It's right next to it. Right fucking next to it. So, let's see. What all can be shorted without being CPU? We got quite a few caps. It looks like mostly caps that can cause that. There's got to be a filter somewhere, so let's find our filter. There's a resistor. What's the resistor for? It's for RAM. Looks like some type of RAM voltage reference. Got another one down here. 1V2 PLL. Never heard of that one. Another resistor here. DDR voltage reference again. I don't see any type of filters. We got a, oh, here's a filter. What does that go? Front camera. PP1V2 front camera. which is in here. It's this filter right here. Front camera. Wouldn't it be awesome if front camera was the problem? Alright, so let's take that filter off and see what we get. And let's see if we're disappointed. And find out that this is actually a CPU issue. Alright. Fingers crossed. Very little hope though. Yep, it's shorted on the CPU side. Let's clean this up. Bye bye front camera. Yep. We took front camera off, but that wasn't it. I have a feeling that this has been and will continue to be a CPU problem the entire time. I've never seen this line shorted before. It's very odd. Been better. Be better if this thing was working. Because I really don't want to have to tell this lady that, hey, I tried everything I can, but unfortunately I can't get any of your data off. And what seems to be a CPU fault that is now possibly shown its face, and let's see if we can inject some voltage. Threadripper. It's a pretty beastie CPU.
I mean, it would fall right on that line if it was 1v2. That's right. There's the majority of 1v2 lines where it looks like to be right in here and right on the edge of CPU. Let's see if they're all surrounded by ground, because I'm sure they are, because Apple loves this and puts everything important next to ground. Yep. Dead fucking center of ground lines. Literally, they're like every other, and then there's ground between each one. Mic is gone again.
What? Oh, his mic.
Horn voice.
Let's see, which one of these is the microphone? Alright.
I know, Chris. I know.
Yeah, I know more. I know more, Micah.
You don't know nothing, Chris.
I know it all, Micah. Alright, so I guess I'm going to solder a wire to this and see what happens. See if maybe we get lucky and it's just a cap that's fucked. Which has happened before. I've seen 1v8 SD caps fail with heat. Probably because they were already kind of weak from some type of drop damage or something like that. And this phone could very well have been in a case, and that's why the body doesn't show any type of damage. I mean, it's in really good shape. There's no like obvious physical damage. What?
Aren't the power supply back is not up in the right voltage
On what?
on this Dell for Derek.
How much is that putting?
Not even a fucking volt.
Is that after you plugged it in or before?
Before. Right now it's not. It's reading like 0. It's not reading anything.
Have you plugged it in? Have you plugged it into the computer before you started metering it?
No.
At all?
Wait, I did.
Alright, you need to reset it by unplugging it from mains power.
Oh, main power supply and then, okay.
Because if there's a short on the rail, it'll turn the power supply off.
Okay.
Alright, let's hook up our power supply leads and see what happens.
Oh, there we go. Now we got a blue LED.
Alright, so we need 1.2 volts.
19 volts. That's good. So, bonus thing right. You are. Chris knows something. So there is a short on the board. I'm going to open it up and find a short on the board.
Oh, dead short. So let's see if we see any type of capacitor get hot. It is pulling almost an amp, so that's good. That means we're getting a decent amount of heat into it. I'll drop test mic and back at it again. I'm applying voltage through a capacitor. Well, it's just a capacitor sitting on the line. It's not really going through it. I've just tied to the cap. Alright, so it seems to be melting pretty uniformly. I haven't seen anything yet that says, hey, I'm fucked up. It just seems like a uniform amount of heat, so let's go ahead and spray down the CPU here and see what happens with it. This isn't a very high amount of wattage. It's only about 1.5 maybe. or 1.25 watts. We're looking for any signs of melting on the CPU itself in a specific area here or towards the center. Doesn't look like it. It looks pretty uniform and it's melting. It's kind of confusing. I'm gonna move the ground down. I see no specific area that's getting hot per se. I don't per se see anything. I can't up the amperage at all. The amperage is only as much as the circuit will pull. It's not current limiting itself, it's amperage limiting itself. Or not amperage, voltage limiting itself. So the voltage is what's holding it back. If I could increase the voltage, but then I'm gonna do damage to anything on the line because it's not rated for that voltage. Let me take this cap off. Yeah, it's still 0 ohm short to ground. I mean, the only thing I could think to do would be go through and remove every single capacitor, which is gonna suck. I've already removed a shit ton of stuff from this board. I'm fairly confident this is under the CPU is where the short's coming from.
Damn it.
Good job, Micah. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I don't know. I don't know why it would first of all not boot up and just sit there at 80 milliamp draw. And then I don't know why after taking PMIC off it would have a short on this line that I've never seen a short on. I mean, I've taken a lot of PMICs off and replaced them, and I don't feel like I ever got it too hot. So I think I'm almost to the point where after I pull all these caps off, if that's not what it is, then I'm just gonna have to call it. Just call the lady up and tell her that it's a issue with the CPU, and I can attempt to pull it and see what it is, but the fuck? There's a capacitor that's sitting. It's like some type of AC decoupling cap or something like that. That's really weird. So this cap right here is some type of AC decoupler. Take all these off, but I have a feeling we have a short under CPU, and I don't know how, but it is there. There's another decoupling cap. So let's see, where is that thing? It's way up under here. So it's still dead short. Okay, there's a cap down under here somewhere. It's all the way under there. Alright, got it out. Let's see here. Still dead short. We got 4 more caps that are a possibility. And that's it. So it's the one under here. Okay, that one's gone. Still dead short to ground. What's the next one? This one right here. So you gotta take it off with some hot air. It's too beefy to get off without hot air. Okay. Still short. What's the next one? It is right here. Okay. Those caps are two-sided, so they have the positive poles on the ends and the negatives in the middle. If I can find one with, most of these are CPU caps. Alright, 1B2 still shorted. We have one left, and then it is CPU. It's this one right here. I guess since the CPU and all the other secondary lines need so many bypassing caps, it made more sense to have a dual capacitor for saving space. Alright, so our short is definitely in the CPU. I've removed every cap that is on a line that would have any issues with it, so I don't know what to do. Not much I can do, really. I feel like I guess there's a possibility the short is caused from what I did, but I don't know why it would be. I've never had issues before. I still don't understand, like up until this point it wouldn't even boot up anyway. Like it just hang every time. And the only thing that was left on the I2C lines that I could see was PMIC. So if you come, let me show you what I'm looking at here. So on the schematic here, there's I2C lines all over the board that talk to different chips. So there's two different sets. There's a set that talks to like the TriStar and one side of the backlight and stuff. Let me see if I can find it real quick. TriStar. Okay, there it is, right there. Okay, so that's the data line there, and the clock line is there. So if you look, there's a data line here. If we zoom out, we can look around the board and see where that data line goes. So you can see data line goes here on PMIC, and then if we go to the top side here, you can see the data line talks to CPU, talks to Chestnut, talks to one of the backlight drivers, and then it goes to a couple resistors. Now if you go to the other backlight driver over here, if we click there, there's another data line there that goes here on the CPU, which is actually really close to our 1B2 lines. Let me see where our 1B2 lines are. They're right in this area somewhere. They're right here. So our data lines are here and our 1B2 lines are here. So the 1B2 SDU line that was getting hot earlier is actually right next to it. Let me see if I can fucking click on this. That's ground. That's clock. That's 1B2 SD. Where was the data line at? Oh, we'll just have to find it. Back up here. It's a clock line. Here's the data line. Alright, so, but anyway, so if you follow that line, the other data line, we can come down here and we can look. Does it go to baseband? Doesn't look like it goes to baseband. If we scroll down here, we can see, oh, it goes to Tigris. That's why we replace Tigris. Up, it goes to the vibrate control. So we replace vibrate control, it goes to the audio, or we removed vibrate. It also goes to the audio amplifier. We remove the audio amplifier. As you can see, both of those are gone. We replaced those two chips. We removed everything up here. She said she was on a phone call, so we isolated baseband from the power by pulling the baseband PMU off. We pulled the audio IC because that could have been causing issues. We pulled the touch ICs because maybe that they were fucked up. The fucking goddamn Stockholm. Removed all these up here. There's a data line over here on this IC also for the boosting for the Touch ID. Let me see if I can find it. Or no, that's what it was. It wasn't a CPU data line. I noticed that the Mesa line talked directly to TriStar through the 3-volt line. Or it had a tie to the TriStar line. So I removed it just in case it was fucking with TriStar somehow. But what was the original cause? No liquid, no obvious drop damage. It looked like a completely normal phone. Like, here is the casing for it. Why is my fucking resolution's way off on this one? Let me change that real quick. But the I'm gonna switch back to the main view so you all can see this. So the phone, if you look here, there's no dents on any of the corners. See if I can get to focus. So the corners are all good. There's a little like scrape there, but nothing crazy. All the corners look really good on it. There's no like signs of water damage anywhere. See if it'll focus. I don't know if it's going to, but there's no indications of water in here. The sticker in the frame is clean. She's got a plastic screen protector on here. It's got some scratches on it, but there's no cracks, there's no dents, nothing. So I really don't know what caused the original issue. Based on the symptoms, it was a data line problem, or possibly even CPU problem. Just because of the fact that like it wouldn't even go into DFU mode. So the first thing I tried is I thought maybe it was software corruption. So I tried to force it into DFU mode to start with, and it wouldn't even go into DFU, which is really odd. Usually, even if a phone is really fucked up, you can force it into DFU. It just may not restore. This one wouldn't even go into DFU mode. So that's, I originally thought, okay, it's probably got to be a CPU problem, because CPU has to turn on to go into DFU mode, and if CPU's not even turning on, then you've got problems. And I checked all the CPU power rails. I checked CPU V-Core, it was 0.9 volts. I checked SDRAM 1V8, it was 1.8. I checked SDRAM 1.2, it was 1.2. I checked the SoC, it was 0.9 or 0.8 or whatever it is. I checked GPU, it was 0 because the phone wasn't on. There was no image to display. I even checked those lines for shorts. I checked for 1V8 constant lines. I checked for NAND lines. I checked for everything. All the power rails were there. The phone would not go into DFU no matter what I do. I put a new TriStar on it. That didn't do any good. I put a new charge port on it. That didn't do any good. I tried new cables, different ports on the computer. Ports that worked for other phones didn't work for this one. I couldn't get anything usable out of this phone. So unfortunately, it looks like at this point that it most likely was a CPU fault, and that CPU fault has now turned into something else. Maybe that was the original fault all along and I just didn't know it. Maybe the CPU was not getting enough of something to turn on. But at this point, I pretty much have to throw in the towel. I'll ask the lady if she would like me to send it off to somebody that may be able to try to do the CPU on it. I'll talk to Wyman online and see how much they charge to dick with the CPU in China. I don't know of anybody in the US that does them yet. I've been practicing, but I don't feel confident enough to do it. I'll try it on phones that aren't data requirements, but on a phone that needs data, I'd much rather send it to somebody that I know can put the CPU on and take it off, reball, whatever they need to do. But unfortunately, I think this 6 Plus is done for me, at least. Kind of disheartening, because I don't like to not be able to fix something, but what can you do, right?
Can't fix them all, Chris. Can't
fix them all, that's the truth. So we'll move on to more phones that I'm not going to be able to fix. We got a 5S here that I fixed an issue on the board last time. Somebody pried off the SWI line, and we fixed that. Looks like it's got some more ugliness going on, but we replaced the filter down there last time. I don't know what's going on with all the multicoloredness now. But now the phone is back from the company and saying that it turns on now, which it didn't do before, and it all works and everything. But now the phone will randomly shut off when you open certain apps. So I'm going to check the SWI line again to make sure that it is, or it has continuity. Which it does. It has continuity on the output of the filter. Let's see if there's any short on it. I don't see any short. Let's see what kind of diode reading the SWI line gives me. 0.389, so that looks normal. Did I get sick from the Fritos? No, not yet. Your master plan failed, Anthony. So I don't know, it could be battery maybe. I've already checked the amp draw on the phone, and it's normal when it's off. It goes down to 20 milliamps. When it's turning on, it doesn't seem to pull any high amperage. When the phone is off, there's no signs of a partial short or something on one of the lines. The only thing that I can possibly think is maybe a battery problem. Maybe the battery that was put in here isn't holding up to the amperage requirements at times and is shutting off. The phone works, so you can see it boots up. They just said that it randomly will shut off. Alright, Anthony. Probably just needs a restore. Maybe so. That's what I'm going to suggest to them, is they try just a... They didn't say which app it was. No, Greg. I could ask. But I'm going to let it boot up and just show you that it does work. And then I've got some boring touch ICs to do. We got a couple of them to do. We've already done 4 today. Alright, so the phone is on. I don't know their password. But I'm going to suggest that they do a software update. Alright, so let's see. We got a touch IC here. Mikey, you want to take these apart? Need to mail this back out. Need to mail this out. Did you ever try that password on that EMC?
No.
Go ahead and try that and see if it works. I doubt it will, but... You remember what it was or no? This is Bama with a capital B. Anthony, I'd have to see. I think we have everything on file. Just put everything in there one more time. We'll make sure that it's been put in. How fragile is the 7 Plus? Can it stand a few drops from 6 foot? I wouldn't trust them for those kind of drops. The drops we've seen on them have been waist high, and we've seen some that won't boot up afterwards. Did you unplug it and plug it back in a bunch or something? Can you just close the string?
No, it won't let me close anything other than...
What the fuck? There it goes. There she blows. There she blows again. Actually, we have 2 touch ICs. Here you go. Keep them with their respective boxes.
What? Oh.
I just remember which box it came out of. 2 of them. Bama! Hold on, I'll be right back. Let's see if this works or not. Doubt it, but we'll find out. Other options like plain text or something like that? Here. I'll see if we can find some. We got a Motorola phone that's encrypted data. We don't know how to get it off. Which phone? 6 Plus? The one I was working on? The Motorola, the lid turned on, and the data partition is encrypted. We can see the partition, but we can't read it. It's in a raw partition format. We can look at the hexadecimal and we can see some stuff, but looks like it's an ASE encryption. Problem is we don't know the encryption key. That's why we usually ask whenever they send them in if they had a password on it. Because if it had a password on it, it means that everything behind that password is going to be encrypted. And then we would need to know how that we would have to know the key that the encryption uses, which we do not know. There's an option to decrypt it, but we can't. We don't know what the hex key is. You have to know the hexadecimal key. The key is 6969. If only it was that easy.
69 so far.
Getting raw data. I mean, I can dump the raw data, Paul, but I don't know how exactly you go about decrypting it. It's still gonna be encrypted. All it is just fucking rambling bullshit. It's just a bunch of hexadecimal. In short, ha. Yeah, pretty much. The data was important enough to them that they had it sent here. We also had a BlackBerry here. Yeah, BlackBerry that was sent in that it's encrypted too, and the storage on it is stored on the fucking CPU die.
Yeah, they're encrypted from the factory. Can't read like
I mean, Anthony, I may send it that way. But I can't. I can't get past the encryption. I wish there was a way just to mount the EMC. Like emulate a phone on the computer. That way you can mount the EMC and actually boot it. And then just go in and type in the password and get the data. Yeah, I know they changed the encryption algorithm they used. Erkin at HTT Recovery Services. Is that the guy that has a YouTube channel, Anthony? He's like a Bosnian or Croatian guy. Maybe Russian. Can't remember.
Yeah, it seems that Moto uses their own fucking encryption shit too. There's a lot of write-ups on the M7 about it. Right back to porn voice.
Anthony, is that the guy that I was talking about? The one that has the YouTube channel? Okay. Yeah, I've talked to him before. I haven't talked to him much, but I've messaged him a few times. Yeah, I don't know if there's some type of universal decryption key. I know that BlackBerry had something like that where you had a universal decryption key that was let out. It was I guess it was the government's backdoor option for recovering data, because they usually require any type of security to have a backdoor option for them. That was one of the big controversies with Apple, is there was no option for them to have a backdoor access to the phone, because Apple claimed that even they didn't know, because the key is generated per phone, and they didn't want to put any type of vulnerability in the software that would allow access. We look like. I don't know what y'all are talking about. We could always get an electron microscope and read the ones and zeros off, and then compile that, because it's kind of weird. Like, when you read the raw format, you can read some plain text stuff in it. Like, there's sections in it that say JPEG, GIF. Like, there's one section that has all the image formats that I guess it would support. They're all stored in one area in the raw partition. But we can't read the partition directly. Like, we can read other parts of it. We can see all, like, the setup files and everything. We can see, like, the factory like configuration files and stuff. We can read all the system data, but we can't read any of the user data. Alright, let's do this touch IC. We got a couple to do, and then I'm out of here. So Won't take us very long, maybe 40 minutes or so, as long as we don't run into any issues. I did have an iPhone 6 today, which is the first I've ever seen, had the same Touch IC issues as the 6 Plus, and that was because the customer had tape put under the IC, and when it did, it broke connections under the IC from stress. So that was a cool one. Dump the raw partition and see what I can do. I'll message him here in a minute. See if there's anything that he thinks he can do with it. He's definitely a really knowledgeable guy. I've watched a lot of his videos. I haven't seen if he's made anything recently or not. I know he got more into editing his videos there for a while. But I guess in his job, just like ours, when you make the same video over and over of the same kind of recoveries, it gets boring. Maybe boring for him. I always think it's interesting to see what he's doing. He does conceal a lot of what he does, I've noticed, but I don't blame him. I mean, the platter swap and stuff like that, that's kind of straightforward. That's kind of, once you know how to do it, you can do it with any of them. The head alignment stuff and stuff like that is pretty cool. Let's see, when's the last? His main machine went down in front of the motherboard. Yeah, the last video he posted was 4 months ago. He's got a lot of really cool tools. Random reboots after Touch IC repair? No, not really. If you've overheated anything to do with like backlight or something, it could be shorting out a data line. Alright, so let's wait for this to heat up. We need to get some leaded solder. Oh, that sucks. I wouldn't think it would take him very long to get back up, though. I mean, unless it was on his actual equipment itself. Maybe the, I think he said he uses, the company I was going to buy from, I can't remember their name now. The company that makes the data recovery equipment he uses. Same one that Lewis got. I can't remember right now, but I mean, maybe if that equipment got damaged, I could see it taking him a while, but if it's just the PC itself, the amount of money that he has to be making on those recoveries, which I know about what they charge, he should be able to get back and up going quickly. You don't change Cumulus? No, there's no sense in changing Cumulus. Yes, PC 3000, that's what it is. Oh, his HP server. Does he have a NAS or something set up? All right. Let's go ahead and clean up this flux so we can scrape our trace. The camera and capture card and everything for the scope have been shipped out. It looks like they won't be here though until late this week or early next week. But I'm pretty excited for that. Z-series workstation. We've got a older Dell power station or something like that in the back server. It's got a Xenon 8 core in it. honestly use it for just bullshit. I use it to stream videos to our front TV, and I also use it for running ZXW on the server so we can access it from any of the computers. It's used highly not for what it was made for. It's got a RAID controller and everything in it, but I've got a NAS. Yeah, the Power Edge. I've got a NAS, and I really don't need any type of RAID setup like that. The NAS has its own RAID. I've got it in RAID 10. It's 4 1 terabyte drives in RAID 10. 2 of them. 2 are striped, 2 are copies, so it does everything I need. We don't need much storage space. We don't keep a whole lot of data. What's crazy is I picked up that NAS and I picked up the Power Edge. Actually, I got 2 of the Power Edges. I sold one of them to my buddy. He was going to make a gaming computer out of it. But I got the NAS, the 2 Power Edge servers, a bunch of different shit, 2 LaserJet printers, a big PhotoJet printer, which is at my house that I need to get rid of, and all that shit for like $200. Customer data, we store it on the NAS. We hold it for up to usually 30 days, and then I'll delete it, because if they don't come back by then, it's just, we tell them if there's anything they need to let us know, but if they don't, I just delete it. Do you know what the component is that controls the ear speaker? Ear speaker on an iPhone 6? Well, I mean, what do you mean, what controls it? The audio codec controls it, which is this large IC right here. There's also some other stuff. What am I doing? Wrong thing. Most customer data, though, gets dumped off onto external flash drives and sent to them. Do we eat sunflower seeds? Yeah, occasionally, not very often. I like pistachios more so than sunflower seeds. Pumpkin seeds are really good too when they're in season. We make homemade pumpkin seeds whenever it's fall time. That way, when we do our pumpkin carvings, we just save all the seeds. Wash them off, throw them in the oven, and let them cook for a little while. 5S today, proximity not working. Even new cables customers did not want to pay for it to be fixed. Much to sorting that. Proximity not working, yeah. You've got a few components in between the prox sensor lines. I think prox goes directly to CPU. I don't know that it goes anywhere else, because CPU actually controls all those settings. Oh God, Micah, how much money would it take for you to eat half a Carolina Reaper on stream?
Half one?
Half one on stream.
Money?
How much money?
$500.
$500?
Yeah.
Alright, you all heard it.
My friends grows them.
Oh, you have a friend that grows Carolina Reapers?
Yeah, and chocolate boulas. And
chocolate boulas?
And what else has he got? He's got 5 color Chinese something, and then he's also got a whole bunch of other exotic super hot peppers.
Well, Chad has heard your request, and we'll see if they choose to oblige or not.
Shit. Don't really shove me. I'll probably cry, but okay. $500, I'll cry on stream.
Micah chooses to cry on stream for $500. He needs to go. Micah needs to go on hot ones. Maybe we should do like a donation thing, and we'll raise money for some event or something. Or we'll have Micah eat a Carolina Reaper on stream. We'll donate some money to local shelter or something. Alright, let's get this little fucker in view here. A1 for free. You'll pay him $350? Yeah. I don't know if Mike will do it. He said he wasn't really into hot food, so. But if he said you wanted to pay him to be stupid on stream, he'll do it. Alright, so let's get our chip lined up here. See if I can keep fucking it up. Alright. Get it there. Let's get our paste on. Calm down there. Our stencil shifted on us, but hopefully it didn't knock any of our balling off. No, it looks like it flattened a few, but everything looks okay there. Have I dropped any frames? Yes, 977. So you probably had some buffering at some point. If you did buffer, make sure you click back on live because you'll be behind a little bit. Alright, so our IC is reballed. Now we need to kind of scrub it down a little bit. Can you see it? Yeah. It always amazes me watching the lead switch over. It's pretty cool shit. My trusty toothbrush failed on me, so Micah gave me a pink one today. So I'm rocking the pink toothbrush now. Alright, let's grab our board. Turn the light off. What's up, Mike? Yeah, Navi Plus started working on its own. I guess it just was having a bad day and didn't want to work the other day, but now it's all gravy. It's quirky at times. I'll give it that. It's had its moments in the past too, so. It's never not responded to touch, but it's had some really weird, like, quirky issues with, like, not powering on correctly, or it's really random shit at times. Alright, so we're going to melt our IC back into place. It is melted. We're going to give it a little nudge. Okay. Make sure we're flat. We are flat. I'm actually going to try to get the Navi Plus add-on so we don't have to remove the NAND on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus anytime we see one with error 4013, error 9. Those two will be an easy solution now once we get those attachments. I see the error 4013 becoming decent profit maker because I've seen a lot of them already. Usually we avoid them. Not avoid them, but usually we don't fix them because people don't want to pay the price that it really takes, the labor involved to remove NAND. Working on 4013 now. That's good, Alex. That trick to take the NAND off and see what error it gives you is beautiful, because when the NAND is at fault, when it's a software issue, as soon as you take NAND off and you try to restore it, it'll error 40 on you, which is a neat little trick. Yeah, other than 40 you stop. Error 9 is usually a CPU communication issue between EEPROM. Fuck. About died. Alright, so let's see if touch works. Let's go into settings. Alright, and we're going to go to, oops, too far down, accessibility, assisted touch, turn it on. We'll go corner to corner here. Alright, diagonal, diagonal. Alright, so touch is good now. We'll do our press and tap method to make sure that the chip is seated. By doing that, you can see if there's any like slight disconnects in the chip. As soon as you tap the board like that, it'll disconnect the chip temporarily and the touch will drop. So I always like to hold the assistive touch thing in the center of the screen and tap on the board, because if tapping on the board causes it to drop loose, I know that the Mason chip didn't sit down all the way. There you go, Micah, that's one done. Give me the other one.
Oh, okay.
Anthony asks, when I put a new hard drive in a customer's machine, do we use Seagate, HG, or Western Digital?
Western.
We have mostly Western Digitals. How many customers ever ask for SSDs? Quite a few ask for SSDs, or take the upgrade if offered. We get quite a few that take the upgrade when offered also. We buy SSDs and brand new drives from a company in Tennessee. They usually have brand new Western Digital Scorpio black drives and all the business class HP stuff. So whenever the business class HPs come in, the company automatically pulls those drives and upgrades them all to solid states. And if it comes with a solid state factory, they pull the solid state and put a larger one in. So we have a lot of like 320 gig or 500 gig Western Digital Scorpios. We had a few standard Western Digital drive, like 5200 RPM drives. We had a few Seagate, I think, but they're all gone. All our SSDs are either Intel or SanDisk. They're fairly small in size, none very big. Most of them are either 180 or 256 gig SSDs, which is still plenty big. Used drives, no, they have absolutely no cycles on them. Like, the drives we get are literally drives that come in the computer they buy new from HP. They get the computer in, they flip it over, they open it, pull the drive out, and put a new drive in immediately. So the drives we get actually have unset up brand new Windows 7 installs on them with activated keys that have never been even booted up on, other than maybe what HP did in the factory to test to make sure the drive was working. We do offer used drives to people that don't want to pay more money. We sell these drives at a discounted price since they aren't brand new. Most of them, if they're under 500 gig, they sell for $40. The SSDs we sell from anywhere from $80 up to $100. That just seems to be about the price that they sell for online, so that's what we sell them for. Shudder at selling secondhand drives? Hard drives are hit or miss. I mean, you can have brand new drives that fail right out of the box. So, to say one that you get out that is still working is risky is not necessarily true. I mean, that drive may last another 3 years with no problems. We give the people the option. We don't make it for them. We've not had one come back, so if that makes any difference. It's unprofessional. I wouldn't say it's unprofessional.
It's unprofessional.
Putting a used drive in there.
No, it's not.
That's kind of like saying it's unprofessional for Apple to offer refurbished phones to people.
Unprofessional for mechanics to use used parts and stuff too, I guess.
Yeah.
They get them reshipped from the dealership.
I'm turning PCs into Apples. That's true. The day I start having problems with used drives, I'll reconsider. Until then, it gives a good price point. Seagate, I've had problems in the past with them, but the newer ones tend to be better, so I would definitely, whenever we run out of these Western Digitals, I'll switch over to Seagate probably. I mean, most people choose for cheap option anyway. I haven't either. In the past, the Barracuda series has been terrible. But the new ones seem to be pretty good. They've kind of redone their line, I think. Ah, fuck me. $10 to $20 drives a month. We don't do anywhere near that many. We might replace 3 or 4 a month. We have had a recent string of MacBook users that have wanted 500 gig SSDs in their units, though. We did 2 of those last week. Which I definitely, if people come in here and say, hey, I want my computer to be faster, I immediately like, well, if you want an SSD in there, that'll immediately make it faster. Alright, so we got our jumper in place. It's a little crazy tonight, but that's okay. Yeah, it's definitely in the numbers. Have the cable reversed on the motherboard? Oh yeah, how it kind of folds under itself. You're lucky it didn't burn anything up. Alright, so let's put down our coating. We'll have to come in and clean this up after it's cured. Got a little bit on that ground pad, not super important, but I like to make sure they're all clean. Oddly satisfying to stick tweezers into pre-made ball container and pick up the exact number of balls you need twice. Yeah, that's pretty good. Paul is correct. You have now used your lifetime allotment of luck. Alright, now let's see. I need to do... I don't like this chipset. These are the large... there's two different chipsets that come on Mace, or on the 6 Plus and the 6. I don't know if Alex has seen this or has had any experience with this, but I have had a overwhelming issue with the chipsets that have the larger writing on them. Always having issues after reball. So like this one, if you look at it, you all can't see it. Let me brighten it up. If you look at the writing on this chip, it's got fairly large writing in towards the center of the chip. And there's a different set that has smaller writing on it. Let's see if I've got one. I'm still waiting on my new chips to come in. But I keep a nice little assortment of replacement used chips. Let's see. That one's large writing. I probably used up most of the small writing ICs, because all the large ones I tend to avoid. That's large writing. My new chips all tend to be the small writing though. That's large. Here's one that's small. It's dirty as hell. I'll have to clean it up. This one's small too. We'll use that one. It's not as dirty. Alright, so here's the two different sizes here. So these are the same exact chip. They do the same exact thing. And they have the same exact model numbering on them. This one has much smaller writing though on the right. So if you look at the left side here, you can see the size of the writing on it. And if you look at the right side, you can see it's much smaller. For some reason these chips, the larger ones, if I reball them, they don't seem to work properly ever. I've had maybe one or two that I've reballed that worked okay. It seems like the majority of them either have issues with like internal shorts, or they don't work at all, or they'll work but they're real kind of spotty on the touch and shit. Like I don't know if it's just like I subliminally have like programmed myself to somehow fuck up the chip while working with it, but it seems like that seems to be a consistent occurrence for me. That's what I'm thinking. It's not a different supplier because they're both Texas Instruments. I think maybe a different run or maybe a different factory. If you look on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, the chips that they use are a mixture of the larger writing and the smaller writing. I haven't paid much attention to see if there's a specific maybe manufacturer. But maybe that's what it is. But yeah, they're both Texas Instrument ICs. Neither one of them's counterfeit. They're both legitimate. Like they both come off of iPhones. Unless Apple got tricked to buying counterfeit chips, which I doubt. They both are Texas Instruments original chips. Just one of them is extremely sensitive to reballing. And the ones that I have had return that we've done Touch IC on, the one that I had return that had problems after running the jumper on it was that chipset, and it had no touch at all after it had been out in the field for about a month and a half, 2 months. Had no touch at all, and when it returned, I reballed that IC again, thinking maybe I put the chip on and it just something wasn't right about it and it didn't seat properly. So I pulled it, reballed it, put it back on, still no touch. Thought maybe the jumper that I ran was not good. Did it again, reballed, put it back on, put the new jumper on, still no touch. Replaced the IC, touch returned. So the actual IC on that one had failed. And I've only seen that on the one with the larger writing. You're all a little sensitive to reballing? Well, that IC is definitely sensitive to reballing. Alright, let's see if we can push our chip out now without breaking it. Which I did earlier today. I broke one pushing it out. It was stuck in the stencil with the flux a little too tight. And where it was pushed against it and the flux wouldn't let it out of the stencil, it actually cracked it on that side. Alright, so we got one that might be a little sketchy. I'm going to go ahead and refill it with some flux. I'm going to go ahead and run that through a reball one more time. I'm going to clean it off. One of these looks a little too small. I can see it from a distance too. They didn't get silk screened. I mean, that wouldn't really... The silk screening process shouldn't make any difference. It would be the... let me see. Maybe that was an optical illusion. Oh no, it looks okay. I thought we had a really low ball, but it doesn't look like it. Looks fine. So let's put it back on our board. I need to scrape off that ground pad. If this ground pad comes off for some reason, no big deal. You can actually remove it if you're worried about it shorting to your jumper. One thing I am a little concerned with is making sure that that wire here is well exposed. Just scrape that a little bit to make sure it is exposed. Looks good now. Alright, so let's put our IC on. Turn our brightness up so everybody can see the magic. Turn it down a little bit. Alright, so let's grab our IC. That's the wrong one. Looks like. Is this the right one? That's the right one. Alright, so let's flip it over. If I can get my tweezers to stop sticking to it. Okay, it's fairly close to where we want it. It's going to be right about there is where it'll settle. Let the flux boil for a second, pull our tweezers out, come back in with heat. You'll watch the chip, it'll settle. There it goes, it settled down. And then we're just going to give it a little nudge. It's good. Check it to make sure it's level. It's level. Well, Freddie, if that's the case, then yeah, it makes sense. I've had problems with them every time, and I did one today that had big lettering on it. Put it back on, and it was showing a short as soon as I started it up. Like, not a dead short on like VCC main, but like a short that's concurrent with Touch IC. Normally, when you put a Touch IC back on, and I'll show you all here. I forgot DC power supply is not on right now. I just closed down all my programs. Let me start DC power supply up and you can see the voltage I'm talking about. Well, I'll stop hiccuping. Alright, so I'm going to set this to 4.2 volts at 2 amps. Turn our power supply on. Let's hook up our screen. When a iPhone 6 Plus is normally booting, it'll go power button press 80 milliamps, a split second later 100, and then a split second later 220, 240, as long as the board is cool. If there is a short under Mason, you'll get a power press 80 milliamps, and then it'll jump to like 600 milliamps, then 700 milliamps, and then it'll start to boot. And that's when you know that there's short under Mason from the Touch IC replacement. So we'll press here. There you go. So it went 80, 100, 240 on the power press, which is normal. As you can see, it's booting up. SMD is surface mount device. Alright, so we can see we have touch working there. Let's turn our brightness up. Alright, so we're going to go general, accessibility, assistive touch. Now we're going to start in the bottom corner and we're going to go all the way to the bottom. So you want to make sure you're all the way in the bottom, because I've had some where the IC was faulty and there was a strip, horizontal strip at the bottom that was bad. Normally, if it's an issue with the placement of the IC, you'll get vertical dead sections, but if the IC itself is fucked up, you'll get horizontal dead sections. So there's no dead spots at the very bottom. We'll sweep all the way to the corner. We'll go all the way to the top edge, all the way back over to the top edge, diagonally down, and then diagonally across. And then we're going to do the tap test, so we're going to pull it to the center. Tap it on the board. Touch is still working, no loss of connectivity. So that one gets a thumbs up for testing there. Gets stuck at 0.15 amps. I've never seen one stuck at 0.15. Maybe TriStar, something along those lines. 150 milliamps. That's kind of an odd one. Maybe NAND. NAND usually though is higher. Usually NAND results in like a 300 to 400 milliamp draw. 150, I would guess TriStar. Maybe even in DFU mode possibly, but if it has an Apple logo, then probably not. It's probably TriStar related. Alright, let's put the cover on this one, give it to Micah, and then we are done for the night. Micah's excited, I'm excited. Micah's going to get a big payday today. He's going to be rolling in dough. They're going to call him Doughboy.
There's already a fat kid in Bowling Green.
I know he is. I know him personally.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Finally, after a week of procrastinating, I had a new PC for the work area finished off. Had to pull the hard drive from it and stick an offline driver pack installer on it, as it didn't support USB keys or Wi-Fi. Didn't support USB keys. A short on VCC main, SOC, and 5V7. SOC is a low resistance line, so unless it was 0 ohm short, I don't think SOC was short. It's usually 100 ohms or something like that. SOC line. 5V7, now if that's short, that's a definite issue. That could mean if 5V7 is short and VCC main is showing short, then that probably means that the 5V7 has a short and is drawing all of it down, because 5V7 is boosted off of VCC main and it's done through Chestnut. What do I use my BIOS programmer for? For MacBooks, if they come in with a EFI lock on them that I bought off of eBay or something after they've been water damage repaired, we can pull the BIOS and remove that. Can I do it for you? Yeah, we can do it for you. If you want to just send the board in, it's easier. I mean, you can send the whole laptop, I guess. It doesn't really matter. It's only for the older MacBooks, though. Like pre-2013, I think. I don't know if it'll read the newer ones or not. Or if they will even allow you to do any type of EFI removal. I don't know, Martin. I don't know how it chooses when it displays in a different color. It's kind of random, I've noticed. Maybe it just likes you. I got a question. Alex, see if you've ever seen this or if anybody in chat has seen this. I've got an iPhone 6 Plus here. The phone works. It boots up. It does everything it should. Like, the phone's on right now. But the problem is... if you take a SIM card... let's see if this one's active. Okay, so this one's active. If you take this SIM card in, we'll see it'll get service here. Unless their SIM card's deactivated. Usually it gets service if the SIM card's good. This one may be deactivated though. Looks like it is because it still says no service. Anyway, the problem is, if it has service and you go to dial a number, so I will dial the business number. When you make the call, if it has service, it'll come up and start making the call. And then right as it starts to make the call, there's no audio coming out of the ear speaker or the loudspeaker. And then the phone app will lock up and then the phone will lock up. And I've never seen that before. Like, it will lock the phone completely up to the point you have to restart it. And it'll do that every time you try to make a phone call. And it's already been restored. Yeah, audio works otherwise. So like, I'll go into voice memo right now. Let's do this one, loudspeaker.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Audio works. That was Derek. Audio works on this speaker. The proximity works. Incoming call to the phone. You can see the phone call, but as soon as you answer, it locks up. So the phone just locks up every fucking time. So I'm not exactly sure what's wrong with it. I was thinking baseband issue, but it gets signal fine. The only thing I can think is maybe a transceiver problem. The transceivers decode and encode the data transfer back and forth over phone calls. That's the only thing I could think.
There.
Alex, what was yours doing? Thank you, sir. Audio in call. Okay, I'll give audio IC a shot. Makes sense. Audio IC talks to CPU, so. it can definitely cause issues. If that doesn't work, then I'll probably do the transceiver ICs down at the bottom just to make sure. But anyway, ladies and gents, that's going to wrap up our stream today. I'm going to go home and relax for the rest of the day. Slackers. But thank you all for watching, and I will be back on tomorrow. We've still got some phones to get done. I've got to mail out some to Lauren, and I got to finish his. And then I think we're caught up with mail-in. We got, I think, two or three here, and that's it. And then Lauren's stuff, which is, there's about 8 phones left, 7 phones, somewhere there. Try turning off background refresh. I don't know what the fuck that means, but alright. Anyway, you all have a good night, and I will see y'all later. Adios. Micah, you put it on my keyboard, Micah. Yeah.